Welcome to Jom Study Live YouTube channel. Hope you are doing very well in your studies. Today's lesson is reviewing past year chemistry exam questions for another set of summer 2022 multiple choice questions. Part 1 paper consists of only 20 questions. And without further ado, let's get started. Question number 1. Which two gases will diffuse at the same rate at the same temperature? So the answer for this question is carbon monoxide and nitrogen. B. A student measures the time taken for 2 grams of magnesium to dissolve in 50 centimeter cube of dilute sulfuric acid. Which apparatus is essential to complete the experiment? So, because of the concern here is the time taken. So, when the statement stated about the time taken, so you need to have a stop clock. And then you need to dilute 2 grams of magnesium to dissolve in 50 centimeter cube of dilute sulfuric acid. So you need to have measuring cylinder. And on top of that, you also need to have balance. So in this case, you need to have item number 1, item number 2, and item number 4. So the answer for this question would be A, 1, 2, and 4. Question number 3. A chromatogram of a single substance T is shown. And which measurements are used to find the R value of T? So, as you can see from left-hand side, this is actually a paper. Chromatogram is a paper which can be used to distinguish between pure and impure substances. So, from this diagram, we can see that the starting point to measure the value is from the solvent front, which is also you have in this diagram, solvent front, and to the solvent, which is to the baseline. So if you can see, from this is the nearest answer to this question would be 3 and 4, which is the answer is D. Okay. And question number 4, they are given actually X and Y are 2 different elements. And X and Y also have the same number of nucleon. So, if you can see, these are the 4 atoms that have the same nucleon number, but they are totally from different type of group. We have here is helium, we have oxygen, and we have sodium, we have chlorine. So, the most answer to identify what are the X and Y is they are in different group of the periodic table. So, that is the answer supposed to be. So, is a C. And the diagram show the structures of 3 macromolecules P, Q, and R. Try to recall from this diagram in which chapter is actually show the structure or properties of the macromolecule of P, Q, and R. From here, you can see that P is actually represent silicon oxide, and Q, because diamonds, the molecule is a bit close to each other. So Q is actually diamond, and R is actually graphite. So you have to refer to the chapter Bonding and Structure, Property Diamonds and Graphite, Structure and Properties, Silicon File. So this diagram can be seen under this chapter. So the answer would be C. Question number 6. Which dot and cross diagram show the arrangement of outer shell electron in a molecule of hydrogen chloride? So refer to the chapter Bonding and Structure and title Drawing Dot and Cross Diagram. It shows you how hydrogen chloride molecules look like. So the answer for this question is A. And let's proceed to question number 7. The equations for the reactions between barium chloride and dilute sulfuric acid is shown. Which row show the state symbol for this equation? Let's look into this. When the barium chloride in a form of aqueous react with sulfuric acid in a form of aqueous, it will produce barium sulfate in a form of solid and hydrogen chloride in a form of aqua, which in this case, sulfuric acid is actually a concentrated solution and the reaction takes place in a boiling solution. So the answer for this would be A. The relative atomic mass, AR, of an element is determined by comparison or comparing the mass of one atom of the element with the mass of one atom of element Q. What is Q? Refer to chapter 5 under masses and mole. At present, carbon-12 is used as a standard of comparison. Reason being why carbon-12 is being used as a standard of comparison because its mass can easily measured with the mass spectrometer. Because carbon-12 atom is 12 times heavier than hydrogen. So the answer for question number 8 is A. And a compound of element X has a formula of X2O and a relative formula mass of 144. What is element X? How to get formula to get mass? So refer to chapter 3 under elements and compound and periodic table. To get the mass number is actually number of proton plus number of electron. And number of electron is the same as number of proton. And number of neutron is actually mass number minus proton number. Is given the formula is X2O. X2O means that, let's take the element copper. Copper has the atomic number is 64. So in this equation, X2. So copper 2. Copper 2 means that 64 multiplied by 2 become 128. And you have the oxygen there. So relative atomic number for oxygen is 16. So total mass number is actually proton plus neutron. Okay, 128 plus 16, it becomes 144. So the most suitable elements for X in this case is copper. Okay, the diagram shows the electrolysis of concentrated hydrochloric acid and concentrated aqueous sodium chloride using carbon electrode. At which electrode is hydrogen produced? Refer to chapter 7, Electrochemistry, and the title of metals or hydrogen are formed at negative electrode. Remember, hydrogen or metal are formed at negative electrode, which is at the cathode. So in this diagram, where is cathode? Cathode is actually at electrode 2 and electrode 4. Because iron is actually moving toward negative electrode, are positively charged. So in this case, the answer for number 10 is electrode 2 and 4, which is D. Okay, let's look under the diagram shows the electrolysis of aqua copper 2 sulfate using inert electrode. Okay, which arrow show the movement of electron in this circuit? Okay, even though there is no indicator to show you where is positive and negative. In this case, cathode is actually represent negative, anode is actually represent positive. So let's look into this explanation. When copper 2 sulfate is electrolyzed with a copper anode electrode, the cathode can be carbon or copper, and the copper deposit on the cathode, okay, equal the copper dissolved at the anode. So this is the power supply, and the movement of electron should be from B to cathode. So the answer for this is B. Yes, okay. Which row identified a chemical change and the physical change? So, if you can see, ethanol molecule evaporate from the container of ethanol and enter the bottom of the flame. Evaporation is the physical change that transforms liquid into gas. So when ethanol evaporates, its molecular structure remains the same. So which row identify the chemical change and the physical change? So you can see burning of ethanol dan juga and also physical change evaporating of ethanol. Number 13, which statement explain why increasing the concentration of the reactant increases the rate of reaction? So, what is actually the rate of reaction? The rate of reaction is reaction rate and change in concentration, reaction rate and change in temperature, and also the surface area. So the answer for this is 1 and 4. Increases the collision rate of particle, it can be affected of the surface of area. Okay, the smaller of the surface, the increases the collision rate of particle, and there are more particles per unit volume. And when the colorless gas N2O4 is heated, it forms the brown gas NO2. When the reaction mixture is cool, the brown color fade and turn black to colorless. Which type of reaction is described by this observation? This is about a reversible reaction. Reversible reaction means that a reaction in which the reactant combine to form product, and the product can also react together to form the original reactant. So in this question, the answer for number 14, it should be reversible. And then let's move on to question number 15. Water is added to androus copper 2 sulfate. What happened during the reaction? Okay, androus copper sulfate get hydrated and turn blue on additions of a few drops of water, and the solution form get hotter. So B is the answer. Which arrow on the energy level diagram show the overall energy change for the endothermic reaction? Refer to chapter chemical energetic, endothermic reaction where energy of the reactants is lower than energy of product. And energy absorbs from surrounding when energy product minus energy reactant is become positive value. It's not negative value. If negative value, it should be, instead of endothermic, it will be exothermic. So the answer for this would be B. And number 17, which product are formed when magnesium hydroxide react with hydrochloric acid? So refer to chapter 8 when acid, bases, and oxide. The reaction between magnesium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid is an example of neutralization reaction. And the hydroxide and hydrogen ion will combine to form water. Okay, and the remaining ion combine to produce salt of neutralization. So the salt is magnesium chloride. So in this case, it should be magnesium chloride and water only. 17 should be D. And the oxide of two elements X and Y are separately dissolved in water, and pH of each solution is tested. Okay, I just want to ask you, what is actually X and what is actually Y? Okay, X is actually acidic because the pH solution is 1. And Y is actually 13, which is alkaline. So in this case, which is metal and which is non-metal? Okay, so to answer this, look at this. Metal will form oxide that are basic. This is already come out in the previous summer 2002, 2022 questions. Okay, so metal form oxide. Remember, metal form oxide that are basic. So you have to find metal. So Y under metal should be Y. And non-metal form oxide that are acidic. So the answer would be B. Oxide is acidic. Oxide that are acidic, which is non-metal. As I said, X is actually non-metal and Y is actually a metal. From the pH solution, you can roughly identify. And then to identify which statement if referred to metal or non-metal, you have to understand this. Metal will form oxide that are basic. Okay, and non-metal form oxide that are acidic. So from there, you can choose which is the answer for number 18, which is B. Number 19, an acid is neutralized by adding an excess of an insoluble solid base. A soluble salt is formed. How is the pure salt obtained from the reactions mixture? Refer to chapter 9 under the title of making salt. Adding acid to an insoluble base require filtration process. Then adding acid to metal, which is required filtration, evaporation. So you can see the step is filtration, evaporation, and finally leads to crystallize, which is crystallization. So the most answer for this is D. Filtration, then evaporation, and then crystallization. And finally, the questions 20 asks you about substance J takes part in a redox reactions. So this is actually the titles under redox reactions. In the reaction, J gain electron. Okay, which statement is correct? Refer to redox reactions where oxidizing agent is a substance that oxidizes another substance by accepting electron. So in this case, the answer should be B. Oxidizing agent, okay, and accepting electron. Substance by accepting electron. So when they accepting electron, the another reactance is become, it reduce another electron because to give to another chemical reaction. So that's why it's reduced in the reaction. Oxidizing agent and it's reduced in the reaction. So with that being said, I would like to wish you all the best in your study and incoming examination. And please subscribe to Jom Studila YouTube channel and follow me at Jom Studila Instagram. By the way, you can get customized note, which is available at the Beacon page. And to get access to the Beacon customized notes, you either can go through direct to Beacon URL, or you can click to Jom Studila Instagram to get access to Beacon page. Thank you very much.